Welcome to Half 2-4. Today in the show, a colossal scandal at Anfield. The true reason behind the resignation of Arne Slot has been revealed, as he was pushed out of the club by Mohamed Salah, while the entire dressing room staged a total boycott against the manager. Mikel Arteta launches a mega rebuild in London and is ready to pour hundreds of millions into new players. And meanwhile, Real has set its sights on the captain of Arsenal and is preparing the loudest transfer robbery of the century. But Declan Rice's response shocked Florentino Perez. Darwin Nunez wants to go to Barcelona, and negotiations are already underway. We talk about all this and much more right now. Behind the scenes of Anfield, a colossal scandal exploded that completely erases the official, beautiful version of the parting with Arne Slot. We have already analyzed with you how the management of the Reds played a grandmaster game with Andoni Iraola, but what is coming to light now is a real thriller. Fabrizio Romano blew up the information space with shocking details. In reality, Slot was pushed out of the club by none other than Mohamed Salah, and the team dressing room staged a total boycott against the Dutchman. Let us find out how the Egyptian leader canonized this coup, why the players refused to support the manager on social networks, and why Ben Jacobs assures that Iraola will be announced at Anfield within the next few days. Let us face the truth and dig deeper. Officially, Arne Slot published a very touching farewell letter in the publication Liverpool Echo. He spoke a lot about pride for the 20th championship, thanked the fans, and incredibly warmly mentioned the tragic loss of Diogo Jota. The coach noted that he will never forget how the entire Liverpool family united in memory of the Portuguese. A beautiful, proper press statement. But now attention to what was happening behind closed doors. According to information from Fabrizio Romano, the main nail in the coffin of Slot's English career was a public post by Mohamed Salah after the defeat against Aston Villa with a score of 2-4. Mo put up a harsh, absolutely atypical post for himself, where he directly criticized the cowardly playing style of the manager and stated that opponents stopped fearing Liverpool. This post instantly gathered likes and supportive comments from almost the entire starting lineup. It was an open mutiny. The players totally did not believe in the ideas of the Dutchman, and the fact that a team with such a toxic atmosphere even clung to 5th place in the PL was a clean ride on wild individual class, and not the merit of the manager. The final of this story also testifies to a structural split. When the club announced the resignation, the entire dressing room demonstratively kept silent. No posts of respect or sadness. The only one who left a touching message for the 47-year-old Dutchman was Captain Virgil van Dijk. He thanked his compatriot for the Premier League gold in their first joint season, while the rest of the team simply ignored the departure of the manager. The Slot project is closed, and now the bosses are moving to the finish line. Insider Ben Jacobs confirms that negotiations with Andoni Iraola have reached the finish line. The club wants to close the deal already by the end of the week, so that the new leader takes office even before the start of the World Cup. My opinion? This behind-the-scenes story puts all the dots over the I. It becomes clear why the bosses were in such a hurry to reserve Iraola. The dressing room was completely unmanageable. The fact that the leaders dumped the manager after a won title is a dangerous precedent, but for the current Liverpool, it is the only way out. The main question now is different. Will Andoni cope? Yes, at Bournemouth, he built a fantastic team. But there, the pressure of every minute results and the whims of world superstars did not hang over him. Managing a mid-table side and managing a top club are completely different things, and whether Iraola will cope, we will find out soon. While the Catalan side Barcelona conducts grueling bargaining with Atletico for Julian Alvarez, the transfer market unexpectedly threw Deco an absolutely crazy and free alternative. The authoritative Spanish publication Mundo Deportivo blew up an inside. Uruguayan forward Darwin Nunez, along with his entourage, personally approached the management of the Blaugranas and offered his services. The Catalans just traveled to negotiations with the Saudi side Al Hilal regarding the buyout of Joao Cancelo, and as a result received a chance to take the former star of Liverpool for free. Let us find out why Saudi Arabia kicks out the Uruguayans so easily. where Juventus competes for him, and whether Hansi Flick can turn the main football meme into a fearsome weapon in La Liga. Let us go by the facts, because this plot is developing maximally fast. The future of the 26-year-old Darwin Nunez at Al Hilal is already determined. The Arab club has long stopped counting on the forward and officially allowed him to look for a new team. Recently, the Uruguayan was actively linked with the Turin side Juventus, but the player himself is in no hurry to go to Italy, as he raves specifically about a return to Spain, where at one time he tore it up very well in the squad of Almeria. The position of Barcelona itself remains expectant for now. On one hand, everyone understands Darwin's background. After a high-profile move from Benfica to Liverpool, he never managed to establish himself in England, becoming a local meme due to a terrible realization of 100% moments. Because of this decline, his market value on Transfermarkt collapsed to just 25 million euros. On the other hand, if the financial appetites of Atletico regarding Alvarez turn out to be unpayable, or the Madrid side flatly refuse to sell the Argentine, Nunez becomes a very attractive plan B. He is young, has a crazy starting speed, and, what is most important for the current budget of the Catalans, can come to the club practically for free. I think this is actually an extremely interesting and completely working option for Barcelona. Of course, Darwin is far from Julian Alvarez. He does not have such a fine football identity and stability. But if Hansi Flick can properly integrate the Uruguayan into his vertical and aggressive football, Nunez is still entirely capable of reviving his career and putting on a solid performance. The main thing is that the German manager returns his psychological confidence, which Darwin lost at Anfield. No sooner had Arsenal fans cried all their tears after an ultra-harsh defeat in the Champions League final against PSG when the London office blew up the transfer market. Mikel Arteta and sporting director Andrea Berta are officially launching a mega rebuild. Fabrizio Romano and David Ornstein declare in one voice, the Gunners are ready to pour hundreds of millions into new signings to finally conquer Europe. No problems with financial fair play, the bosses are going va-bank. Let us analyze for which monster forward the Londoners have already laid out £86 million, where they are expelling Gabriel Jesus for next to nothing, and what financial catastrophe at Aston Villa allows Arteta to take the main superstar of the Premier League for £100 million. So, by the facts. Arsenal plans at least 3 big transfers. The first and most important priority is a left top winger. And here a real war unfolds for Morgan Rogers from Aston Villa. And right here begins the most interesting part, because the financial analysts of the Times revealed the true boardroom horror of the Birmingham side. It turns out the financial situation at Villa is much more complicated than it seems at first glance, and the club is under a colossal double vice. The first trap is a tough UEFA rule regarding squad spending limits. A club can spend on salaries, transfer amortization, and agent fees no more than 70% of its total revenues. Villa has a historically bloated payroll after signings under Unai Emery. They have already received a fine of £5 to £6 million for violating the limit of 80%, and the bar dropped to 70%. But now they are in a huge deficit again. In order not to drop out of the Champions League, they urgently need money. The second problem is accounting tricks that passed in England but failed in Europe. To fit into the PL limits, the bosses of Villa sold their women's team and a concert hall near the stadium to their own parent company for £55 and £113 million. The Premier League counted this with a creak, but UEFA categorically forbids counting the sale of internal assets to related companies as football revenue. For European officials, these millions simply do not exist for the club on paper. What does this mean for the transfer of Morgan Rogers? Unai Emery categorically does not want to let his leader go, who registered 14 goals and 20 assists over the season and scored in the victorious Europa League final. But if Arsenal, PSG, or Manchester City pay £100 million for him, for the accounting of Villa, this will be a clean profit that will instantly close all holes before UEFA. The player himself, in fresh interviews, has already hinted that he does not like to play boring and safe football and is ready for challenges of the highest level. John Cross from The Mirror confirms Arteta is pressing the bosses of Arsenal to take advantage of this vulnerability and take Rodgers already at the beginning of summer, and in parallel, the club closes other holes. If it does not work out with Rodgers, the Gunners have a luxurious Plan B, Rafael Leao, who has just announced his departure from Milan. Also, a new midfielder is critically needed. Martin Zubamendi bannily burned out towards the end of the season, working without rotation almost all matches, so Declan Rice needs a top partner of a 6 to 8 profile. The main candidate is Sandro Tonali from Newcastle, but the Magpies will demand over £80 million, and Arsenal is weighing whether it is worth spending such a sum on a position where the player will partially overlap in functions with Rice. If the Gunners decide to save money, Arteta is ready to trust his own academy graduate, Miles Lewis-Skelly. They will also almost guaranteed sign a right defender because Ben White missed the CL final due to injury, and Jurrien Timber also was treated too much. And now the situation with forwards. The club officially put Gabriel Jesus on the transfer market and asked for a ridiculous £20 million for him. The Brazilian, with his cosmic salary of £265,000 a week, started in the Premier League only 3 times over the entire season. Arteta's patience snapped. And in his place, the Gunners are preparing a real monster striker, for whom they have already sent a first offer in the amount of around £86 million to create a wild competition for Kai Havertz and Gyökeres. I think this is a powerful move from Mikel Arteta. Instead of just waiting for the market, Arsenal strikes exactly at the most painful spot of the competitor. Aston Villa can pride themselves on successes on the pitch as much as they want, but the accounting trap of UEFA leaves them no choice. They will have to sell. Selling Jesus for $20 million is a financial cleansing that will free up the bill for a new project. If Andrea Berta pressures the Birmingham side and takes Morgan Rodgers for $100 million, adding a killer forward to him, this Arsenal in the new season will simply tear it up in England and Europe. Friends, if you have watched up to this point, then subscribe to the channel. It is not hard for you and pleasant for us. And while you are subscribing, we move on. By the way, Madrid's Real has set its sights on the main heart and captain of London's Arsenal, trying to pull off the loudest transfer robbery of the century. The publication Team Talk reported that the higher management of the Royal Club turned to Florentino Perez with a demand to sign Declan Rice already this summer. The Spaniards see in him an ideal leader for their midfield line. Let us find out why the Gunners are not even going to sit down at the negotiating table and with what harsh phrase the football player himself has already answered Madrid. Let us look at things soberly. Arsenal has an ironclad position. The Londoners have no intention, not even the slightest, of selling their main superstar. Moreover, the bosses of the Gunners directly made it clear that if Madrid even dares to send an official request, the price tag will significantly exceed those crazy £105 million that London at one time paid to West Ham, and Declan Rice himself is absolutely not looking in the direction of Spain. Right at the celebration of the victory in the Premier League, he briefly and maximally clearly voiced his plans for the next season, sending a powerful signal to all opponents.
Next year we're coming back for more. Yes, you heard it. Now lock in or get locked out.
The guy is fully focused on London and strives for revenge. What can be said here? Well, they want what they want. Nobody forbids Madrid to dream. I cannot even imagine what exactly Real must offer to the management of Arsenal for them to just pick up the phone, and how they are going to persuade the player himself, who has just publicly sworn allegiance to the Londoners. Rice for Arteta is an untouchable asset around whom the whole team is built, so Florentino Perez better look for someone else. UEFA made a very non-standard decision regarding Kylian Mbappe, which made many fans sincerely surprised. Despite the fact that the Frenchman became the top scorer of the Champions League, he was simply not included in the symbolic team of the season. Against this background, club president Florentino Perez made a rather candid statement about the forwards' problems in Madrid. Let us look at the language of figures and find out why UEFA ignored the star forward, how many of his goals actually influenced the result, and what an ultra-complex task now faces Jose Mourinho. Let us break down these statistics without emotions, because dry indicators are often deceptive. Yes, Mbappe banged in as many as 15 goals in this European Cup season. The figure is solid, but if you look at whom exactly and how they were scored, the logic of European officials becomes clear. Kylian scored 7 goals out of 15 against Kairat and Olympiacos at the league stage, registering a hat-trick and a poker. But in the knockout matches, where real leaders are precisely determined, serious problems arose. In the quarterfinal against the Munich side, Bayern, he scored 1 goal in each match, but Real lost both of these matches and dropped out of the tournament with a total score of 4-6. Add here that during the entire tournament, the Frenchman gave only 1 single assist in the game with Monaco. It turns out that thanks to his goals, the team did not win a single key or saving victory in the decisive stages. Knowing how to score against not the strongest teams is also an art, but if you claim the status of the main star of the world, then you must single-handedly drag the club out in critical moments, as Cristiano Ronaldo did for years in the most important finals. In parallel with this, club president Florentino Perez admitted what exact problems Mbappe had during his first 2 seasons in Madrid. Kylian has been playing in a position different from the one he's been playing at PSG. That's thrown him off a bit. We're going to correct all the things we think we haven't done well. The role of a central forward noticeably constrains Kylian, and in the summer, the coaching staff will have to seriously rack their brains to find him the right place on the pitch. And the main headache here is how to optimally unlock both Mbappe and Vinicius Jr. on the pitch at the same time. After all, the native position for both is exclusively the left flank of the attack, where each of them is used to making a difference. I think UEFA's decision, although it looks harsh, has logic in it. We were clearly made to understand. The status of the best sniper due to a large number of goals in blowout matches does not guarantee you recognition if you do not make a difference in the decisive matches of the year. Perez is absolutely right. Mbappe's potential in Madrid is currently not realized to the full. Combining 2 superstars on the pitch who claim the exact same zone of the left winger is a challenge of historic scale for Mourinho. The Turin side, Juventus, is staging a crazy transfer series. Star Liverpool goalkeeper Alisson agreed a personal contract with the Turin side, but the Reds turned on a mode of powerful resistance. Let us briefly look into how the Merseysiders are blocking the move of the Brazilian, why the Italians urgently switched to David De Gea, and which French forward Turin returns after failures. According to an inside from La Gazzetta dello Sport, Alisson agreed terms with Turin and wants to announce his departure to Andoni Iraola. However, Fabrizio Romano reported that Liverpool blocked the transfer and does not want to lose yet another leader. Because of the dead end, Juventus instantly turned on Plan B. The publication goal confirms that the Turin side is seriously considering the signing of David De Gea, who produced a phenomenal season for Fiorentina. In parallel, Romano reported a new request regarding Randal Kolo Muani, who returned to PSG after a loan. The Frenchman himself is maximally open to returning to Serie A. My opinion? Switching to De Gea is a smart step, because the Spaniard is adapted to the league and will cost several times cheaper than the blocked Alisson. The return of Kolo Muani is also a clean plus for the attack. Friends, thank you for watching, and if you liked the episode, do not spare a like and subscribe.
Thank you.